All right, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to embark on what is essentially the ultimate cosmic detective story. Think about it. For nearly 2 centuries, we haven't actually found a new confirmed planet in our solar system. But right now, as we speak, astronomers are scouring the sky for an unseen giant lurking at the very edge of our cosmic neighborhood. And we call it Planet 9.
So the big question right off the bat here is there a ghost haunting our solar system? Because, well, we can't see it, we haven't photographed it, but astronomers are noticing these unmistakable gravitational footprints way out in the dark, frozen edges of space. It really looks like something massive is out there, just pulling the strings in the dark.
Section 1. A cosmic mystery. Now, to understand these footprints, we actually need to head straight to the scene of the crime, way out beyond the orbit of Neptune.
The setting for this whole mystery is the Kuiper Belt. Basically, it's a vast ring of icy debris, the frozen leftovers from when our solar system first formed. And the objects floating out here, we call them trans-Neptunian objects, or TNOs for short. For a really long time, we thought this area was just a chaotic, completely random field of cosmic rubble. But recently we realized it is absolutely not random.
Here's the thing. When scientists started looking closely at the most extreme of these trans-Neptunian objects, they noticed their orbits were weirdly clustered together. Specifically, the exact direction of their closest approach to the Sun, which is called their longitude of perihelion, is practically aligned. Now, space is huge, right? Objects out here should be scattered completely randomly. In fact, the statistical chance of this alignment happening purely by coincidence is a staggering 0.007%. That means something is physically holding them in that pattern.
So, what's actually doing the pulling? Before we meet our prime suspect, we should quickly clarify some of the terminology. Historically, you've probably heard of the hunt for Planet X, which was this mythical, incredibly massive, distant planet. But the modern framework we use today was formally introduced in 2016 by Caltech astronomers Konstantin Batygin and Mike Brown. That's the Planet 9 hypothesis. And, just to keep us all on our toes, a 2025 study led by Amir Siraj at Princeton recently proposed Planet Y, a variation that might actually be a little closer and lower in mass. For this explainer, we're going to track the broader Planet 9 profile, but just keep in mind that the exact identity of this suspect is still being actively debated.
Section 2. Meet the prime suspect. What exactly are we looking for out there?
Let's walk through Planet 9's rap sheet compiled from all the latest astrophysical models. Essentially, we're looking for a super-Earth or a mini-Neptune. The mass is estimated to be somewhere between 4.4 and 10 times that of our Earth, and it is incredibly far away, orbiting between 290 and 800 astronomical units from the Sun. Just for context on that, Earth is at 1 AU, Neptune is at 30. That means one single year on Planet 9 takes anywhere from roughly 5,000 up to 20,000 Earth years. And at that extreme distance, we're talking about a freezing, bone-chilling temperature of around 47 Kelvin.
Trying to pin down a ghost using nothing but math is intense work. Konstantin Batygin actually had a symphony composed about this entire process. He said, "The symphony masterfully portrays the intellectual tug-of-war inherent in theoretical work, almost taking on a life of its own." I just love this quote because it really highlights that deducing the existence of a brand new world purely through mathematical equations and gravitational models isn't just dry data. It's an emotional, thrilling, intellectual roller coaster.
So the crucial point we have to ask is, what would this world actually look like? Well, based on Kepler exoplanet data and some amazing models by researchers like Esther Linder and Christoph Mortesini, we can actually break down its likely composition. We're almost certainly looking at an iron and silicate core wrapped in a thick mantle of water ice and magnesium silicate, all completely smothered under a dense, freezing hydrogen-helium atmosphere. If you could see it up close, it would probably look a lot like a smaller, much darker version of Uranus or Neptune.
But how did it even get way out there in the first place? Well, we have 3 leading origin theories. 1. It's actually the core of a giant planet that was violently kicked out of the inner solar system by Jupiter's massive gravity billions of years ago. 2. It's a rogue planet that our own sun managed to capture from a passing star. Or 3. It literally just formed naturally all the way out there in its distant, eccentric orbit.
Section 3. Tracking invisible footprints. Regardless of its origin, we know it's leaving tracks. So how are modern astronomers acting as cosmic detectives right now?
The evidence is really mounting that an invisible shepherd is actively hurting the outer solar system. We're seeing what we call detached objects, and their orbits are completely ignoring Neptune's gravitational pull.
We see other objects orbiting at ridiculously high inclinations, some even orbiting backwards, in retrograde. And recently, researchers found a distinct population of low-inclination Neptune-crossing objects that perfectly match the theoretical predictions of Planet Nine's gravity. And get this, the confidence level is approaching 5 sigma. In particle physics, 5 sigma is the literal gold standard for a confirmed discovery.
And the plot definitely thickens. Amir Seraj and his team at Princeton recently analyzed over 150 Kuiper Belt objects, specifically the ones completely uninfluenced by Neptune. They discovered that at distances between 80 and 200 AU, the average orbital plane of these objects is literally warped compared to the rest of the solar system. A massive planetary body exerting a really strong gravitational tug is by far the most logical culprit for bending the plane of all these icy rocks.
But, good science requires us to look at the contradictory evidence too. Enter a massive twist in the case. In May 2023, the fossil survey using the Subaru telescope discovered a distant object named 2023 KQ-14, affectionately nicknamed Ammonite. The problem? Ammonite's orbital orientation is not aligned with the other known distant objects. It actually challenges the very alignment theory that birthed the Planet Nine hypothesis in the first place. It's a fantastic reminder that this case is far, far from closed.
Section 4, Alternative Cosmic Suspects. Because of anomalies like Ammonite, we really have to interrogate the other possibilities. What if it isn't a planet at all?
There are 3 main alternative suspects for this strange gravitational pull. First, instead of one big planet, it could just be the collective gravity of a massive disk of small icy debris beyond Neptune. Second, we might just be completely wrong about how gravity works at those vast distances. That's a theory called modified Newtonian dynamics, or MOND. Or third, it could be something much, much stranger.
Look at this tiny measurement, 5 centimeters. In 2019, physicists Jakob Schultz and James Unwin proposed that the gravitational pull might not be coming from a planet at all, but from a primordial black hole. Because it would have the mass of 5 to 10 Earths totally compacted down, the entire black hole would have a radius of just a few centimeters. We are literally talking about a black hole the size of a golf ball or maybe a grapefruit orbiting right here in our own solar system.
Now, it's an incredibly fun, total sci-fi concept, but we do need to ground this back in reality. Mike Brown, one of the original architects of the Planet Nine hypothesis, perfectly summed it up. He said, "I generally love these ideas, but there is zero reason to think that Planet Nine is a black hole. We're still looking hard. So while it's super important to explore every option in science, the most likely suspect absolutely remains a planet."
Section 5, The Ongoing Hunt. This leads us to the final piece of the puzzle. How are we actually trying to track this thing down right now? The challenge of photographing Planet Nine is immense. Because it is hundreds of astronomical units away, it receives virtually zero sunlight to reflect back to our telescopes. Astronomers estimate it has an apparent magnitude of around 21. To put that in perspective, that is mind-bogglingly dim. It is essentially hiding in the absolute dark, perfectly camouflaged against the blindingly dense background of stars in our Milky Way galaxy.
But the manhunt is incredibly active. Telescopes like the Subaru in Hawaii, Pan-STARRS, and the Zwicky Transient Facility have been scanning the skies constantly. But the real game changer? That's the upcoming Legacy Survey of Space and Time, or LSST, at the Vera C. Rubin Observatory down in Chile. The LSST is going to observe the night sky so deeply and so rapidly that it's expected to increase the number of known outer solar system objects by a factor of 5 to 10. Honestly, if Planet Nine is out there, the LSST is our absolute best shot at finally catching it on camera.
And what if we do find it? Well, Mike Brown has calculated that with our current technology, using a powered slingshot trajectory around the sun, a spacecraft could theoretically reach Planet Nine in just 20 years. Just think about that for a second. Within a single human generation, we could actually send a probe to take close-up photos of a brand new, major planet in our solar system.
So I want to leave you with this final thought. What will the Vera Rubin Observatory reveal about our place in the universe? Because within the next few years, we will very likely either capture the first ever photograph of a ninth planet, fundamentally rewriting the textbooks of our solar system, or we will definitively prove it doesn't exist, which means the deep mysteries of the outer solar system are even stranger than we could have ever imagined. Either way, our understanding of our cosmic backyard is about to change forever. Keep looking up.